Hey, what's going on, traders? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. It really does mean a lot to have your time and support. But as usual, let's jump right into today's recap. And as you guys can see from the top left, I was trading on a simulation account today, as I did mention yesterday that I would be trading on a simulation account for the remainder of the week. So did want to give you guys that heads up. But in terms of how I actually did today, as you guys can see, unfortunately, today was another red day, right? So my third red day in a row this week. Down about $165 on SQQQ and made about $120 today on TQQQ. So these are all my field orders, so you guys can see for reference. I started trading right at market open, right around 6:30, and I didn't stop until 12:16. So I was definitely trading for a while today. But let me go and explain to you guys exactly where I think I went wrong and what I can improve on heading into the remainder of the week. But what I saw pretty much going on with the Nasdaq heading into market open, right? All of pre-market, it was pretty much trading sideways in between the top and the middle VWAP, right? Every time it would kind of approach the top VWAP, it would peak out and eventually pull on back. And so heading right into market open, what did we see? Well, the Nasdaq itself started to pick back up, right? And as we saw all of pre-market, every time it approached the top VWAP, it would sell off. So right at market open, this thing built up some nice selling pressure, right? It ended up selling off all the way to the middle VWAP, found a support, bounced, right? And then from that point on, really just started to make higher highs and higher lows on the day. And so, right, if I take a zoom on back, you guys can see that the Nasdaq absolutely killed it today again, right? So it had a really nice day today, up a lot, and I was red today, unfortunately, and I did make plenty of mistakes that I want to go through with you guys, so hopefully you guys can learn something from them as well. But where I pretty much made my biggest mistakes was not letting true direction, confirmation happen. I was pretty much getting into both sides of the trades because of my experience from yesterday where the Nasdaq was trading, almost in between the top and the bottom VWAP, right? It was definitely changing direction quite a lot. So, if we take a look at the past 5 days of how it's actually been trading, right? What you'll notice, or here, let me actually take a step back even further, right? Is that anytime it's pushed up, it's had, it's been followed by some pullback, right? So even when it was trading around these areas, it would push on, it would have a nice run, right? Push up, and then it would have a nice pull on back down, right? So we did see that multiple times around this general area. It did finally break above it, and it used a previous resistance area as a new support area, as you guys can see here, right? It ended up finding a support, and we did have a nice, push up on the day. So although we were having this nice push, the whole day I was potentially thinking this thing could, end up finding a resistance and starting to sell off the way it has, right, in the past. And I wouldn't have been too surprised if we did, but ultimately that's where the mindset really came to bite me in the butt. Although it's good to look at big picture, right, where it's trading at currently, where I think I went wrong was anytime it would start to pull on back the way it did here, right, or even here, right, as you guys can see, as it would approach the top VWAP, it really made me question whether or not we were finally going to see this sell-off, right, that I was, expecting to potentially happen, where we could potentially correct ourselves back down to these levels that we were trading at before. So I was very cautious with that, especially because we did experience a really nice resistance level right around these areas before, right? So as this thing would push on up, I was very cautious to really go with TQQQ because of the fact that anytime I would approach the top VWAP, it would end up pulling on back very hard. And, in my eyes, I didn't know if this thing was going to start to sell off, very aggressively the way I thought it would. And so given this thing started to really pick up on the day, it's just unfortunate that I really missed out on making potential profit today. But at the same time, right, although it did suck to miss out on it day trading wise, my swing trades did end up performing, a bit nicely today as well. As you guys know, I am very tech focused with my swing trades, and so even Tesla itself had a really nice day today yet again, right? We had highs of almost $126, up almost 4% by the time market closed. And as you guys can see, a big contribution to that was all of these articles saying that, Tesla surpassed BMW as a top luxury car in US for 2022. So that's obviously very good news to hear, right? Especially if you're bullish on Tesla. And long term, it's just the news, hearing these achievements that Tesla's making really encourages me to, want to focus on it even more, investing in the long term. What I'm really just waiting on is for the NASDAQ, right? As you guys all know, to start indicating signs of an uptrend. So once we do finally break above the EMA and start to uptrend, right, the way we had in the past, where we would ride the EMA up rather than get rejected, right? That's what I want to start seeing. I want to see the blue line act as more of a support rather than a resistance, right? Because long term, we are still trending down, and it doesn't make any sense to be adding to my long term stocks if they are heavily influenced by the NASDAQ, right? As the NASDAQ pulls on back, it brings down my tech stocks with it. And so once I get true confirmation is when I'm really going to start to step on the gas with these longer term investments. But I am very excited to follow up with it, right? And see where the market heads, heading into the remainder, or really we're just at the beginning of 2023. But I'm just excited to see, which way the market ends up playing out, right? Because we have experienced a support level around these areas. Doesn't mean we have to push up all the way to these areas again. Doesn't have to, right? We could see, a few different scenarios play out. This thing could eventually break above these resistance levels and continue to climb, or this thing could find a resistance level right around these areas the way it has and start to sell off and form a even lower low, right? So just because we are uptrending the past few days doesn't mean that the market is now bullish, right? Long term, we are still bearish. And I do want to make you guys aware of that, especially if you are trading exactly what I am as well. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. I hope you guys all learned something new, right? It's definitely not the best to try predicting where something will eventually end up reversing, right? I really played it safe by, not being too aggressive today. But as you guys can see, right, anytime this thing would approach the top view up, it would end up selling off, which caused me to be iffy on trying to continue with this uptrend here. But I'm very happy for those who are able to take part in TQQQ. But at the same time, right, as I mentioned, we do want to be aware that it is trading a bit more overextended at these levels. And so if there were to be some type of pullback, I don't want anyone to be really shocked. But thank you guys so much though for your time and for hearing about everything I have to say today. If you guys have any questions at all, want me to break down any stock for you, any stock indicator, go ahead and drop a comment and I will be more than happy to do that. But other than that, that's pretty much everything. I will be posting a recap tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys then. Take care and have a good rest of your day.